Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to That's Football. It's Brazil time and it's two fantastic games we've got coming up for you this evening. You've already had two fantastic games, the best two games of the tournament so far. 5 goals in the last one, 6 goals in the 10 a.m. show, 10 a.m. kickoff. I mean, to be honest with you, it's very sad, isn't it, actually? I'm sure many of you, it's not lost upon you that actually we will have no 10 a.m. tomorrow and no 1 p.m. tomorrow. So what a way to sign off. 3-2 win for Ghana against South Korea, and then Serbia drawing 3-3 with Cameroon. So finally, we're starting to get these games in the World Cup that we've all been expecting. I mean, those two games this morning and Spain-Germany last night should not be the exception. They should be the rule. That is how group football is normally played. For some reason, we've had some really pragmatic football, and then now we're getting some really open football. Maybe we've got a FIFA directive, or maybe they fixed the football, but we certainly won't be getting a 0-0 in this one. Brazil entertaining Switzerland, who are a good side. Antonio says better than the Spain-Germany game, says Antonio. I enjoyed the Spain-Germany game. It's not for everybody, but the World Cup is heating up, says Iced. Yeah, we've not had a 0-0 since England. Even 0-0 doesn't want to be associated with Southgate ball. So we've had no more 0-0s since England-USA. So we're on our third day without a 0-0. And the reason people are obsessed with 0-0 is we'd had a lot of them. We'd had 5 in the first week. So the record is 7. And hopefully we won't get another 0-0 again. I mean, we might not. We might not get one. So hopefully we won't. But what we have got is Brazil against Switzerland. Both these teams winning their opening game. Switzerland beating Cameroon and Brazil beating Serbia. Both those teams drawing with each other. So it sets up an opportunity for this group whereby I think Brazil will win this, and if they do win this, then Switzerland would have a big game against Cameroon, of course. No, they wouldn't. They'd have a big game against Serbia, and Cameroon would play Brazil. So Neymar's not fit. He's not on the bench either. We'll go through the team news, which is going round on your screen as well. Don't forget, our stats carousel is sponsored by OneFootball. The OneFootball app is free to download. You can do it through the QR code in the top right-hand corner or through the link in the description. Free to download on all platforms. OneFootball app. Get all your latest breaking football news, stats, transfer news through the OneFootball app. Make sure you download it. Fantastic. And maybe if you've been on the OneFootball app, you might have already seen the team news. But the team news is as follows. Alisson Militao comes in at right back for Brazil. Marquinhos, Thiago Silva and Alexandro as the back four. Paqueta, Casemiro and Fred. And then Rafinha, Richarlison and Junior. Vinicius Junior. So Fred does replace Neymar, which will be in a completely different way to doing that, of course. But he will do that. No place for Neymar on the bench, but the bench is full of talent. Fabinho, Gomes, Jesus, Anthony, Rodrigo, Martinelli. Loads and loads of players there of quality in that Brazil squad. And then Switzerland, who I don't want people to sleep on Switzerland. They're not a bad side. Sommer, as we know, good goalkeeper. Widmer, Akanji, Alvida, Rodriguez is a good left back. Freuler and Xhaka, you'll know all about. Ryder, Sau and Vargas, and Embolo up front, who is a handful without being prolific. I would describe Embolo. I think every World Cup or every Euros, people say, "Oh, do you think Embolo would be a good signing?" And I don't. I think he's a handful player. But I don't think he's a prolific player, in my opinion. So there we go. Could Switzerland get a result? They could. I don't think that they would. I mean, look, I don't think Brazil are unbeatable, but I expect them to win. They are the favourites, Brazil. And I think that in the first game against Serbia, they certainly showed quality. We've seen Spain, very impressive in both games. We've seen France, very impressive in both games. And I expect Brazil to be impressive tonight. Mark, surely I am not the only one thinking Anthony should be starting over Rafinha. Yes, I'm a United fan, but surely he deserves that spot, says Kenzie. Well, we've seen it throughout the tournament and we always see it in club football as well. Managers have favourites, and Rafinha could have had a hat-trick against Serbia, and maybe the manager just likes him. Fred can't keep a cinder block under the bar. Can't wait to see him kick one into the Persian Gulf from 35 yards, says Ice Mooney. Thanks for the super chats. And Akshay says, after 30 games in the 2018 World Cup, 71 goals were scored. In 2022 World Cup, 76 goals. 2018 had many 1-0 1-1s. Let's not say this World Cup has lacked goals and excitement, says Akshay. Yeah, but Akshay as well, let's not forget that the Iran and Spain result has... we've had a 6-2 and a 7-0. They will... I don't think the goal tally is bad, but I don't think you can say that the group stage has been better than any other World Cup. I think it's been quite low quality until this weekend, to be honest. But hopefully, it's kicking off a little bit now. I think this World Cup is besieged by problems, isn't it? And I'm not talking about off the field. I'm talking about on the field. For whatever reason, I think some players have struggled going straight from their domestic season into a World Cup without a gap. It feels like the World Cup is growing as it goes. And look, there's a lot of indications of that. We had a lot of boring games last week, and over the weekend it seems to have got better. And today has been really good. And hopefully it can continue and, be enjoyable. But we've had things like, the first few games, we were getting like 10 minutes added on at the end of the second half. We were getting 5 minutes added on at the first half. And then over the weekend, it's gone to what we used to. We're getting 5 or 6 minutes at the end, and we're getting 1 or 2 at half time. So I think it's sort of feeling its way into this, isn't it? And it's starting to hit that sweet spot that I hope it can continue. I certainly don't think that we're going to get a 0-0 today. We haven't had the 2 games I thought we might get 0-0s had 5 and 6 goals respectively in them individually. And Brazil, Switzerland, you would never expect that to be 0-0. Portugal, Uruguay could be, but I don't think it will be. Green of the Crop is talking about... Malcolm Glazer for some reason. This is not the United stand. So let's get the timer ready. We're still 4 minutes away, actually. Must be a little bit early on this one. Get your questions in. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Brazil to win. What are we going for? I think it could be 2 or 3-0 to Brazil. They've got a very good defence. They've got a very good midfield, and they can create chances. So could be 2 or 3-0. And... apparently 10 minutes was added on in the last game, Peter McCormack. Yes, it's not totally over. Will England beat Wales? Yeah. England are very lucky to not be in a position where they could go out tomorrow. I think that goal difference thing's a joke. Still surprised that Richarlison is the main striker for Brazil. He's not even a regular for Spurs, as per Eric Klassen. He's done very well for them. Done very, very well for them, hasn't he? And it will be a bit like Ronaldo with his 18 Premier League goals last season. 6 of the goals came in 2 games, says Leaf. Fred Start says Shay. Today has been an awesome gold fest, says Coded Photography. Yeah, just a little bit of a reminder. Tomorrow we lose the 10 o'clock and 1 p.m. kickoffs for the World Cup forever. They're gone. Tomorrow, because it's the start of the 3rd group game, everybody in the group kicks off at the same time. So England and Wales kick off at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, but so do Iran and United States. So we moved from the 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock kickoffs to 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock for the rest of the week. And then on Saturday, we go straight from Friday, last group games for Brazil. I think Brazil's the last game, isn't it? 7 o'clock on Friday night. And then Saturday, 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock, it's the first knockout. So we don't have a day off from this World Cup until I think a week Wednesday, is it? I think it must be a week Wednesday. So it's 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock kickoffs. There is an FA Cup draw tonight at 7 o'clock, Amil, which we'll cover on the Uruguay-Portugal game as well. So lots and lots going on. Not to mention Christmas and all that. Right, I need to sort this timer out. It's stuck on 16 minutes for some reason. Don't know why. Are you worried about getting any 0-0s, Mark? No. We don't do 0-0s. We don't do 0-0s. How is Rafinha starting? Well, let's do a little bit of a poll. Who would you start for Brazil? Who should start? Let's start off with that. Who should start? Who is it? Rafinha or Anthony? Get your votes in. There you go. Your first poll of the day. Right, I'm just ready to go. I was just reading something quite rudely, but we're ready to go here. Referee's going to start it, and it's Switzerland to start it, and we're up and running for another big game, but more importantly, we're up and running for Brazil. Brazil in this tournament. Here we go. Yeah, I like Brazil. I think most people do like Brazil. I think one of the positive things about England being so negative over the last 15 years is that when you get to major tournaments, you actually just enjoy teams who play good football, because as much as you want your nation to win, they're incapable of playing good football. So, yeah, of course I want England to win the World Cup, but do I expect it to happen? And if we did, we'd probably bore everyone to death. So I look forward to watching France at the moment, and Spain and Brazil. And I tell you what, I think we need to add Germany into the equation. Do you think Germany are back in the equation now? I thought the way they played last night, why would you rule them out? Mark, I think I've made your sticky toffee pudding recipe 200 times. Absolutely brilliant. Love from the soccer country USA, says Ronan. Thanks, Ronan. How are you feeling about tomorrow? Are you looking forward to it? Big game against Iran. Of course, USA need to win. Iran draw and they could go through. I think Anthony might be injured anyway. Ocean mentions it in the chat. I think he might be injured. I think he might have had an illness or something. Was it Anthony? No, that's Ben White. Ben White's been ill today. Not trained. I mean, Ben White's not getting picked for England anyway, is he? Let's be honest. He's just there for a holiday. Top up his tan. Same as Maddison. Maddison and White may as well go sunbathing. They've got no chance of getting any game time, have they? Sean likes Goldbridge's sticky toffee pudding. I need to get back doing some cooking with Goldbridge, because some of my recipes were very good. I could almost do a cookbook. Goldbridge Cooks. What's been your worst game so far, says Rhodey, of the World Cup? I mean, look, I think for most people it might be England-USA, but for me it was Qatar against Ecuador, because it was just the opening game and you want to be buzzing for it. And I thought it was a crap game. I know Ecuador won it 2-0 and there was a couple of goals, but I think Qatar have been really, really bad. Like, I know why they're in the World Cup. They're hosting it, but they don't. There's bad teams in this World Cup, and then there's Qatar. I mean, they've been dreadful, haven't they? Absolutely dreadful. I mean, I know Canada have gone home, but Canada are actually quite exciting at times. Do you think Australia can beat Denmark, says XV? I think you've always got a chance against Denmark, because I don't think they're the sort of team that are going to score 3 or 4 goals against you like France did. But I think Australia will need to score in that. Brazil have got a chance to whip across in here. Bellingham or Pedri, says the cream of the crop. Well, I'm a massive fan of Bellingham. Of course I'm going to go for Bellingham. Good cross. Goes right the way through the other end. I mean, Musiala, what a player he is, by the way. Unfortunately, I can't watch us utterly outclass Iran because of school, says Ronan. Have you seen the Netherlands-Ecuador? That game was some of the teams if they qualified. And do you think Ireland would do any better than some of the teams if they qualified, says Rhodey? Well, who do you think are the 3 worst teams in this tournament? There's a question for you, because everyone's going to put Qatar in there, but who do you think are the 3 worst teams in this tournament? There's a question. Instead of saying who, could Ireland do well in this tournament, let's have a little think about who are the 3 worst teams in this tournament. Definitely Qatar. I think that's without a shadow of a doubt. I think you could probably say Mexico, Wales. I mean, I'm just looking at all the groups. Tunisia haven't done particularly well. I don't think Canada and Serbia deserve to be down there. South Korea have played well. I think the 3 worst teams for me are probably, surprisingly, Qatar, Tunisia, and then maybe it's between Wales and Mexico, which I can't believe I'm saying Mexico. I mean, Belgium have been terrible as well, but I don't think, with all due respect to Belgium, as bad as they've been, they still have got some good players. Nice ball in behind here, Mbolo, but look at that sweeper keeping by Alisson. Did you see that story about Onana being dropped because he was not playing the style of football that the manager wanted, because he wanted a more conservative goalkeeper? He didn't like a goalkeeper that came out his box so much. Bad kick by Alisson, but good defending by Brazil. Yeah, so I'd probably say Qatar, Wales, and Tunisia would be my three worst teams, with Mexico and Belgium pushing them. Inda Club says Wales, Qatar, and Mexico. Qatar, Belgium, and Wales says MUFCETH. Ben Smith says Qatar, Tunisia, and Mexico. Few people saying Qatar, Belgium, and Mexico. I think Wales haven't been very good. I think Wales have fought hard, and you can't get out of the bottom three just because you've fought hard and you've been passionate. I think Wales have struggled really. I think they have. Jake says England are going to get pounded by Wales tomorrow. Well, Wales have got an opportunity tomorrow. I just can't. I can't see England not winning that. Why are people saying Costa Rica? Costa Rica beat Japan. Like they've actually won a game. I don't think they're very easy on the eye, but they've won a game of football. Yeah, they're not pretty, but they have won a game. I think it's harsh to put them in the bottom three when they've actually won a game. But look, it's all about opinion. So we've had 6 minutes here. Switzerland, as I expected, well organised. Brazil, different type of game to Serbia. I actually think that... you know what? That Serbia game, I put a stupid tweet out. At 3-1, I was like, we're finally getting to see what Serbia are all about. I know a few had mentioned that Serbia would be dark horses, and I was like, maybe Serbia are going to announce themselves on this tournament. Next thing I know, it's bloody 3-3. I do think that Switzerland will beat Serbia as well. I think we're looking at the two teams that will go through. Hi, mate. But how much will Brazil be... one thing we haven't spoken about, how much do we think that Brazil will be impacted by the loss of Neymar? Now, I'm sure he's going to be back, and I hope he is going to be back, but I think Brazil have got the quality to be absolutely fine without Neymar, but it's not just that. It's the psychological damage as well, isn't it? Do the team feel the same without Neymar? You've got Neymar on the pitch, or Lionel Messi on the pitch, or Kimmich on the pitch, and they can make a big difference having these star players in your team. So, we need to keep an eye on that. Here's Mbolo. He's a handful, Mbolo. He just couldn't hit the ocean from a boat, unfortunately. I remember United being linked to him a few years ago. In fact, we were very close to signing him, but we didn't. Yeah, I agree with Harry. I think that Brazil are stacked with talent and they shouldn't miss Neymar, but it might be the psychological missing, He's obviously the star player of the team. Mark, you do all the good games, says Jay. I didn't do Canada yesterday. I'm not doing all the good games. You'll see tomorrow. I'm doing England. I was just actually having a look at the groups as they stand now, because obviously 3 o'clock tomorrow it's Group A. Netherlands are playing Senegal, and Netherlands are playing Qatar, and Ecuador are playing Senegal. So Netherlands will finish top of that group because they will beat Senegal, so they'll get 7 points. But Ecuador-Senegal is massive. Ecuador's got 4 and Senegal have got 3. Whoever wins that game will go through in second place and probably play England, because England will top the group. So Group A is really interesting between Ecuador and Senegal, or if you want to watch Netherlands score a load of goals. Obviously Group B, we know what's probably going to happen there. It'll be England qualifying with Iran or United States. Whoever wins that game or draws it, it'll be Iran. Group C, you've got Poland and Argentina. Poland top with 4. Then you've got Argentina, Saudi Arabia both on 3. Mexico on 1. And Argentina are going to play Poland. That's a big game. there is an opportunity there for Saudi Arabia to slip past one of those two if they can beat Mexico. So that's going to be an interesting game on Wednesday. France's group, France are through. And then you've got Australia playing Denmark, which is massive, on Wednesday. Then on to Thursday, you've got Spain, who are pretty much going to go through. If they beat Japan, they will be through. And then you've got Germany. If they beat Costa Rica, they will leapfrog from bottom to second, which I think will happen. Croatia are top of Group F with Morocco on 4 points. Then you've got Belgium on 3 points and Canada on 0 points. Croatia play Belgium and Morocco play Canada. I can see Belgium going out there. I can see Croatia getting the result against Belgium and Morocco getting something against Canada. And then the final group is obviously this one, where it looks like Switzerland-Serbia will be the game to decide who finishes second. So every group's got something going for it, hasn't it? Which is great, because I've seen loads of World Cups where some of the groups are boring. Like, you already know who the top two are going to be. So I'm definitely doing Portugal, of course I am, Dylan. A few people asking me about that one. Uruguay are my dark horse for the tournament, so I'm looking forward to watching that. I think Ronaldo's going to be pumped up as well, isn't he? Messi's already scored a cracking goal. You know, he's on the market.com. Hi Mark, says Emily. I've moved to Manchester a couple of months ago for music college. Any places you'd recommend, says Emily. I don't really go out. I don't really go out in Manchester. I can mention a couple of places to go and eat, but it's a long time since I've been out drinking or anything like that in Manchester. Like I said the other day, that Australasia is nice. I like it down by the quays. We went to the Botanist actually a couple of weeks ago, and they do these hanging kebab meat things that are nice. Richarlison's in down the right hand side. The angle's not good, but he cuts it back. Easy defending for Switzerland there. But first real sight of a chance for Brazil there in this first 10 minutes. Who's going to win the midfield battle in this game, says Thing TV. Well, it's Man United against Arsenal in a way, isn't it? It's Casemiro against Xhaka and a couple of other players. But Satria says this is a great World Cup. I think people who keep needing to tell everybody what a great World Cup it is protest too much. And Anthony is on the bench to... Yes, he is. And Andre says, I think that Rodrigo should be starting over Rafinha, because Anthony's been dreadful. Nice ball into Richarlison. Terrible first touch. Goes out for a goal kick. I tell you what, that Brazil kit's bright. It's very bright. Charlie's got it. And he was wearing it in the studio a couple of weeks ago. And it's a very bright yellow. Their shorts are very bright blue. And it's very bright yellow. And people will say, well, that's what Brazil wear. It's not always that bright. Sometimes it's more of an off yellow. But that one is... Let's just say it's yellow. If you walked around in that top at night, people would see you from Europe. If you were in South America. Oh, I'm intrigued by this now. I'm going to run a little. Anthony 55%, Rafinha 45% is the question there. The next thing I want to ask as well. I've got a couple of polls lined up. I just want to ask this one just out of interest. Who should start? And it's going to be the number 9. Would you start Richarlison? Or would you start Jesus? Get in the chat. We'll do a few more polls today. I like a few polls. Nearly 10,000 watching, by the way. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Got 2 watch-alongs for you today. Having done 2 already. I was enjoying the studio show today. Foul by Casemiro and Mbolo there, by the way. And be a free kick for them. Yeah, 2 cracking games today already. And Canadian reacts as Canada black kit is fire. Shame they're going home. Free kick then. Is it far enough out for Xhaka to have a shot? Not with this ball. He's thinking about it. He's gonna. No, he hasn't shot. He's played it to Rodriguez. I mean, that just shows you what they think of that ball, because I would have had a shot from there. Cross comes in, cleared away by Fred. Mark, could we see an upset here, says Matt? I think anything is possible in this World Cup or in football in general. I don't think there's any reason to say that Brazil will definitely win. They are the favourites, but, you know, Denmark could have beaten France. Switzerland are a good side. I don't know why people think Switzerland aren't. I think there's a consistent theme with Switzerland that happens a lot, where people just think Switzerland are not that good, and yet they are at every tournament. It's not actually easy to qualify from Europe, as you see. You know, you see teams like Norway and Sweden and Italy, they're not here. So Switzerland are a good side who consistently do qualify for tournaments, and they've got some good players. I think they go under the radar a little bit, but they're always, I'd expect them to, like I say, I expect them to hit the knockouts. They're capable, if everything goes right, of causing an upset. I definitely have Jesus over Paqueta at striker at least, says Sebastian. Can't shoot from there with this ball, says Nerio. Richarlison has 9 goals and 1 assist in 7 games for Brazil. They also need someone who's good in the air, says Coys. Well, he's got 60% of the vote at the moment. I hate the Richarlison chicken celebration, Andy W. I absolutely hate it. Even though I like Brazil, I hate that. I hate that. Who do you want to win the World Cup? I've not been asked that for a while. I mean, who does everyone want to win the World Cup? I said it at the start of the tournament that I want to see a non-European team win it. Really, obviously, I want England to win it, but I mean that's very, very unlikely. So I would like to see a non-European team win it, because it's the World Cup, and to not have a non-European team win it for 20 years, would it be 24 years if someone wins it? Then I think it doesn't do. You know, it's always going to be the World Cup, because you've got to have, quite rightly, African teams, South American teams, Asian teams, Australasian teams, and everybody else. But I think it's a bit sad if it just becomes dominated by Europe. I mean, obviously Europe is the best place for football, but it doesn't have the best players. You know, there are some good players out there, so I'd like to see a non-European team win it. And I suppose Brazil look the most likely. I can't see Argentina winning it. I wouldn't rule it out completely, but I can't see it. In fact, can you see anybody winning this World Cup outside of Europe other than Brazil? Because I can't at the moment. Shooting with the ball might be a problem, but the crossing with this ball has been absolutely amazing in the tournament, leading to lots of goals, says Akshay. And Richarlison should be sponsored by KFC, says Leroy. Could Morocco win it, says Hassan. Ghana could do it as well, says David. Could Uruguay do it, says Jack. Well, yes, they are my dark horses, Uruguay. Of course, what a cross, but good defending there. I think it was Paqueta who put the cross in, and good defending by Switzerland. As you say, the crossing has been very good in this tournament. I think the problem that Uruguay have got, and that's why the game at 7 o'clock is so big, is if you come second in that group, you're playing Brazil in the round of 16. So that Portugal-Uruguay game today, I think everybody expects Portugal to top the group. So if Portugal top the group and Uruguay come second, they play Brazil. So it's hard to be a dark horse when you get knocked out in the round of 16, isn't it? So that's why I'm really looking forward to Portugal-Uruguay at 7 o'clock, because it's almost the game to avoid Brazil and play the team second in this group, which will probably be Switzerland. Who, you know... Mr. J says Uruguay haven't got any depth to win the World Cup. That's the problem with being an underdog, isn't it? I mean, teams like Switzerland and Uruguay and Denmark, good first 11s, 3 or 4 decent bench players, but they don't really have the squad depth of, France. Look at the players that France leave at home. Look at the players that Brazil leave at home. Is Switzerland a dark horse, says Deadbeat? I think if you are a team like... Oh, it's a good cross, that is. If Embolo should have bloody gambled on that. I'd be pissed off with that cross. It's a good one. I think to be classed as a dark horse, you've got to hit the quarterfinals. So could Switzerland hit the quarterfinals? Yes. If they finish second in this group, they're going to play Portugal or Uruguay probably. Could they beat one of those? Yes. Into the quarterfinals, you might have won dark horse of the tournament. You know, South Korea were the dark horse of 2002, weren't they? Because they went to the semi-final. I don't think you're a dark horse of the tournament if you go to the round of 16. I think you've got to hit the quarterfinals. But I think Brazil have played well, but I don't think they're... I think Switzerland have done a much better job against them than Serbia did. Oh, a bit short with the back pass, but Sommer's there. What about Ecuador, Mark? Well, Ecuador, if they get the result against Senegal tomorrow, they could be playing England on the weekend. I've not even looked at the round of 16 as to when those games will be played, but obviously I think England are due to play on Saturday, aren't they? Let's have a look. So England would be... England would play on Sunday as Group B winner. We play on Sunday night against Ecuador. I know I'm sounding really arrogant there, but the chances are England win the group, then they play on Sunday night at 7 o'clock against Group A second place. If England comes second in the group, they would play on Saturday at 3 o'clock. But highly likely we'll play on Sunday night. I can almost predict what the round of 16 is going to be. Group A winner at 3 o'clock on Saturday will be Netherlands against United States or Iran. And then Group C winner will play Group D second place. And that will be... I think that'll be France. That will be Australia or Denmark against probably Poland, I think. Have a look at Albert Charland, Haaland's cousin. He's 17 with the same ridiculous stats and will probably be at Dortmund or Ajax soon. Good half-time topic, says L1. Thank you very much. And Daniel Kirk says, Glazers will be selling if their colours are like my dreams. Red, gold and green, red, gold and green. Is that to Culture Club? I'm meant to sing that. Red, gold and green, red, gold and green. Would you say Croatia are a big underdog, says Delta? Well, Croatia got to the final in 2018, so do you class them as underdogs? What's for supper tonight, Mark? Says Multigamer. I don't know. I think it's like lamb mince and aubergine and rice. So I'm looking forward to it. I can smell it. Lee Reese says Australia, Poland or Denmark in a quarterfinal is an underdog. And Jeannie's off for a carvery tonight. What, Toby? Here we go. Oh, terrible pass that. Terrible pass. Switzerland's still on the attack though. I think Switzerland looked quite relaxed in this game, you know. I think it's different to the Serbia game where you felt that Serbia were the big underdogs. I think Switzerland are more than comfortable in this game at the moment. What's just trying to think about this now. Brazil. I was trying to think about when Brazil will play, but I can't be bothered. Probably not. They probably don't play till next Tuesday, do they? Nice run into the box for Switzerland, and it's not gone for a corner. Still not gone for a corner, and it stayed in for Brazil. You were only talking about being oiled up for me only if it's Hawaiian Tropic Girls, not Dubai, says Brian. And greetings from Zurich. Love your content. What's your wants to watch player on the Swiss side, says Leon. I actually quite like Sao, number 15. Yeah, that's who I like. I think Vargas, the number 17, is interesting. Mbolo's a handful. Obviously, Xhaka, Akanji's a good player. But I like the profile of Sao. Plays for Eintracht Frankfurt. Obviously, they had a very good season. When did Eintracht... Was it last year or the year before Eintracht Frankfurt won the Europa League? I think it was last year, wasn't it? But no, I do quite like him. I mean, he's not young, is he? I think he's like mid-20s now, but... I think that they're very similar, aren't they? Switzerland. They've just got a very consistent team of players around the same sort of ability who work very well together, and there are some of their parts. They're not a sum of individuals. Finn says apparently he's having a great season again with Eintracht Frankfurt. Yeah, I like him. I like Sao, and I think he's got the sort of physique and mobility. What a cross! Oh, God. I tell you what, that was the chance of the game. We've been sat here for 26 minutes saying it's very even, and then for some reason the right back loses Vinicius Junior here completely. The cross comes in, he's completely lost him, and it's not easy to take because you've got to take it on the volley. Sort of shins it a little bit, but Sommer still has to make the save. Big chance, terrible shots to Saborski. Just didn't make connection with it. It's not an easy one because it's coming across you. You're not that close that you can head it. He's got to take it on the volley, and he's just not connected correctly. But Brazil has still got it in the box here. And the referee says play on. Switzerland will clear it. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that Sao ended up with a Premier League move, you know. I think he's got the profile to be a Premier League player. He's mobile, he's good on the ball, physical. I could see him. You could see him at Fulham or something like that, or Leeds. Lovely cross by Rafinha though. Watching it back, I don't know whether he should have tried and headed it. You know, maybe he should try and attack it and head it. Richarlison has 63% of the vote. So he was the preference over Jesus. Well done. Yeah. Thanks. Seb's going to show me his water bottle he's got where he's stuck a load of Marvel on it. Let's have a look.
So I know the flags of it. That one is definitely there.
Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor.
Yeah, but he doesn't have one.
Arrow Man. What's the Arrow person called in Marvel? Is he all called Arrow? And there's a girl called Super Spy. I don't know who that would be.
No,
I don't watch Marvel.
No, she hangs upside down.
Yeah.
She can. Right there.
It's called Hawkeye. Him. It's called Hawkeye. What's the girl called? She wears... What does she do? She's a redhead.
Yeah, and
she wears a black outfit.
Yeah, and she can hang upside down.
And she can hang upside down.
And
she's called Black Widow. That's why, because she can hang upside down.
Yeah, but I know the flags. That one is definitely for that, and that one, Iron Man's flag, Captain America's flag, Hulk's flag. That one doesn't have one.
Well, you know two names now because of the people watching this: Hawkeye and Black Widow. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Need to watch some of the films, mate.
I haven't watched some yet.
No. I don't think I've barely watched 40 minutes of a Marvel film. I'm not knocking it. I know people love it, but the universe is so daunting. Good shot there, Rafina, but a long way out, straight at the keeper. I'm impressed that he kept it down. To shoot from 30 yards out and keep it, chest height is takes real technique. But we've had half an hour here. Brazil just starting to switch it up a little bit. Switzerland have done really well for half an hour, but Brazil are just starting to switch it up a little bit now. Good interception there by Thiago Silva. And it's a foul on Richarlison. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. How old is Sal? Says Morgan. How old is Sal for Switzerland? I think he's about 24. So he would be right for a move, really, if he's going to move. But not everybody moves, do they? Maybe he stays at Eintracht Frankfurt for the rest of his career. Insight says that Fred's been the best player on the pitch so far. I think Brazil are just starting to knock this up. Apparently he's 25. Yeah, Musiala did look very good last night, Duncan. Oh, you know what? I've got to say, I was very pleased that Germany equalised. And as I said before, I think I was doing the 1 o'clock Belgium game yesterday, and I said that, I want more teams in this World Cup to light it up. At the moment, I think we've got France, Brazil, and Spain. Well, that doesn't even fill the semi-finals. We need 2 or 3 more teams to step up, and I think Germany stepped up yesterday. So I personally think at the moment we've got 4 teams that look like that. On their day they're really good, and if we can supplement that with 3 or 4 teams in form, whether it's like Croatia's and maybe Switzerland, but those spots are yet to be filled. But I do think that in Germany, Spain, Brazil, and France, we've got 4 teams that look like they're on it. Rafina's looking lively, says HDB. Well, we've had 32 minutes. It's 0-0. You know what? I also get the feeling that Brazil and Switzerland have played each other a lot. I don't know whether we can get the stats on that, but I do feel like Brazil and Switzerland have played each other a lot in World Cups. Nice ball out wide here. You don't think he's going to have the pace of Militao, and he didn't. I mean, this is the other thing about Brazil. Their defence is so bloody good as well. They're so athletic, aren't they, this Brazil side? You can't really find a weakness. Defensively, very, very strong. Fullbacks are good. Midfield is, very strong as well. And then they've got the creativity. And then they've got a world-class goalkeeper. And then they've got a world-class bench. It's like my garden. They've got a world-class bench. Mine's made of wood. Shane says, I've got Holland, Spain, and France, Germany as the semi-finalists. Well, it depends whether they avoid each other. Can they avoid each other, or do they hit in the quarterfinals? Saborski says, if Brazil wins the World Cup, it's boring. How can it be boring? No one's bloody... no one's won the World Cup outside of Europe for 20 years. Would it not be more boring for France to win it? 2 years in a row, 2 times in a row. Please do subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, we're only 300 away from 847,000. So thanks everyone who's getting involved with That's Football. It's been a brilliant World Cup as a community so far. Keep getting involved. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. You're very welcome. And what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else there. Yeah, I don't see how Brazil would be a boring winner of this tournament, if I'm honest. What game were you looking forward to the most today? Portugal, Uruguay. Yeah, I think that's reminds me a bit of Spain, Germany. I mean, look, Switzerland are doing well at the moment, but they are the underdog, aren't they? I think Portugal, Uruguay could be quite a good one, in my opinion. There's Ronaldo. I nearly called him by something else, which should be completely disrespectful, and body shaming, which I'm not going to do. What a player. What a player Ronaldo, R9 was. Oh, yeah. Talk about... I'd love to... I mean, whoever gets the final gets the final, but if on the 18th of December we've got a Brazil versus France final, I'll be very satisfied. Thoughts on De Bruyne's performances so far, says Robble. Look, I'm not Belgian. I don't really understand De Bruyne. I think I see him play for Belgium and he plays badly more than he plays well. And then I see him playing for Man City and he plays well more than he plays badly. It's like 95% of the time when I see De Bruyne play for Man City, he has a good game. And it feels like 95% of the time I see him play for Belgium, he has a bad game. Is he just one of those players that isn't really asked about playing for his country? I don't know. You know, I've seen it with England. I'm not having a pop at him because he plays for Belgium. I've seen it with England. I've seen the likes of Gerrard play amazing for Liverpool and pretty average for England. Same with Rooney. I don't know whether it's that they don't care or that they just... I don't know what it is, but it's not unique to Kevin De Bruyne. Here's Belgium on the attack. Can they get the shot off? Fred, it's got to be worth a shot. It was going way over and it's gone for a corner. Yeah, I don't know what it is. You get these players that play for a club and they're ridiculously consistent in the Champions League, the Premier League, the Cups. They go and play for their country and they're bang average. I don't get it. I probably mixed up Belgium with Brazil then because I was talking about Kevin De Bruyne, sorry. Well, Carl says it's harder to be good for your country than it is for your club. In some ways, you're right because you play for better players. You're playing with better players for your club. You're playing more consistently. But then on the other hand, the standard in club football is way higher than the international football. So surely that would be a balance. Belgium with the Brazil with the class. Now I'm seeing red. 37 minutes gone, still 0-0 here. Not really got going this game, has it? It's been very... it needs a goal. It probably needs a Switzerland goal, to be honest, just to open it up a bit. But, well, even a Brazil goal would open it up. Roberto Martinez, say no more, says Stuart Bates. I think you're right, Stuart. I think it's motivation, isn't it? I think De Bruyne, when he's playing for Man City... He's surrounded by good players. He knows he's got one of the best managers in the world and he knows that they can compete for the major trophies, whether it's the Champions League, the Premier League or whatever. He comes to play for Belgium and he probably really likes the players he plays with, but he probably looks at them and goes, well, you know, when you're not as good as the players I play with in my team and I've got a manager that couldn't manage a championship side. Lovely cross into the box there. Couldn't quite get it under control. I think it was Vargas. It was. And it ends up with Alisson. And I think that's the reason, isn't it? It's hard to be motivated when you're going from Pep Guardiola to Roberto Martinez. You could say the same thing about England. Greece 04, the most boring ever of any tournament, says Kenneth. I think the fact that Greece won it, yeah. Alex says, did you hear Gary Lineker last night saying the ball could be another Jubiliano ball or the South Africa 2010? Well, why does it need Gary Lineker to say that? I've been saying it for a week. And people said, why don't you buy one of the balls and try it out? Because the ball I buy is not going to have a sensor in it, is it? Tobias says, if England face France in the quarterfinals, who's advancing? Look, you can't rule out the fact that you could get a shock. Switzerland could beat Brazil today, but Brazil are the favourites. So if England play France, we've got good players. Maybe maybe we, have a good game and France have an off day, or hit the post a couple of times. But I would expect France to beat England. But who knows? What are your thoughts of Musiala? I think he's definitely going to be a great player, says Matt. I think he's been tipped to be a great player for a long time, and I suppose that's the great thing about a World Cup, isn't it? That people who probably, maybe don't watch a bit of Champions League or aren't really aware of, up-and-coming players in the European scene. He's been an exciting player for a couple of years, and, this is really the tournament where he's announcing himself, and hopefully Bellingham does the same. Is Ronaldo sitting on your garden bench, says Ivan? Well, he won't be sitting on the bench tonight, will he? He'll be starting for Portugal in the World Cup. And I've got a feeling that Ronaldo might do something tonight. I'm always excited when Ronaldo plays. Bruno as well. But Portugal against my dark horse predictions. I'm a bit worried, though, because it's on the line tonight. I mean, Uruguay didn't do particularly great, did they, against South Korea? Oh, here we go. Oh, Kanji's got that. Richarlison was chasing him down, but he's got it. No, fair play to Sommer there. He's under pressure and he still finds a way to pass it out without booting it. Lekin's predicting Spain-France in the final. I think France look better in this tournament than they did in 2018 when they won it. I think they look way better. Nice ball into the channel here. Richarlison up against Akanji. And he gets the ball. Richarlison takes a dive. Sponsored by Speedo. And Travis says Switzerland have been very solid so far. Has there been less goals because the goalies are too good, says Ian. Well, apparently there hasn't been less goals. I think we've had one or two more than previous tournaments, but I think obviously that probably has been swayed by the Costa Rica 7-0 and England 6-2. I think we've had a splurge of goals in certain games, and then a lot of goals have been quite tight, haven't they? We've had 5-0-0s, but we've had, a 3-3 today, a 3-2 today, 7-0 Costa Rica. France beat Australia 5-something, didn't they? So, Mark, what are your thoughts on the new possession stat? They've added the in contest alongside the team possession numbers for the World Cup, says Pranay. I think possession stats are generally quite good. I was trying to think there of a more cynical answer, but no, I think possession stats, you can have 99% possession and still lose the game, but I think possession stats are quite an interesting stat. I think some stats are a load of bollocks, as I've always said. Somebody said, "Are you tired, Mark?" I think by its very nature, it's tiring to watch 4 games of football a day. I think no other time would you be doing that day in day out for 8 days straight. That's a lovely cross, but it's a good header away by Switzerland for a corner. XG is a load of bollocks, says Sergio. XG has its place. Some people absolutely love XG. Let's get them to come and bloody explain how you work it out. But I think XG... Ooh. There's another corner. Thiago Silva. Watch Thiago Silva on corners. Very good. Oh, what's happened to the lights? Baby, when the lights go out, everything... Oh, they're back on now. It's like the dimmer switch, isn't it? Could we turn it down a little bit? Can we have a poll between Musiala, Pedri, Yabi and Bellingham? We can, Alex. We'll do that at half-time. KD likes XG. Cross comes in. Ooh, it's bouncing about. And Switzerland clear it away. And it's gone out for a goal kick. Who do you think is going to win, Portugal or Uruguay, says Dennis? You know what, I don't want to predict because I like Portugal, obviously, Ronaldo, Bruno. But then on the other hand, I did predict Uruguay as my dark horse, so it's my... I can't lose, really, can I? I mean, you know, I do like Portugal, but I also wouldn't mind Uruguay doing well to sort of prove my point. I mean, look, I think Darwin Núñez is a good player. Lovely play by Switzerland here. And Bolo wins a corner. So from one end to the other, now it's a corner for Switzerland. Only 1 minute added on. I'll tell you what, Militao's done well at right back. More accustomed to playing at centre back. Dan says that Brazil are overhyped. I'd say, Brazil missing Neymar? Ooh, flicked on there. And that's half time. Let me stop the clock. Where is my clock? There it is. Stop it. Right. So 0-0 at half time. Another 0-0. Add it to the stats. I think we must have had. I don't know what we've had. I think it was 14 0-0s in 26 games or 27 games. Now I think it must be. We must be about 17 or something like that. In something, I don't know. Somebody will let us know. Do we have Trossard for a year in United, says Delta. Do we want Trossard at Manchester United? I don't know. Hi, Mark. I'm late. I'm just glad we'll finally know who's playing Ivory Coast. Louise says Goldbridge out. What are you on about, Louise? And I'm just glad we'll finally know who's playing. Ayanda, yeah. Steady performance from Fred, says Juan. And I was asked to do a poll, wasn't I, on who is the best. So I'm going to do it. It's a four-way. Who is the best? Musiala, Bellingham. Who is it? Pedri and Xavi. Pedri. Xavi. You only get one vote, so get cracking. Look, half-time 0-0. And, you know, I think that a few of you said, "Oh, Brazil are not that good. You know, they're overhyped." I don't think they're overhyped. I mean, how can you be overhyped when they've actually got proven quality players in their team? The Thiago Silvas, the Alissons, the Casemiros, the Vinicius Juniors. They've got loads of quality players. They're not overhyped. The question is, how good are they compared to everybody else? I think against Serbia, they looked way better. Today, Switzerland have been well organised, and I don't think Brazil are overhyped. I think, as I said a few times in the first half, Switzerland are criminally underrated. They're a very good international side. They are not a top four side. They're not going to hit the semi-finals, but they could hit the quarter-finals. Therefore, you're putting them in the top 8 in the tournament, and a top eight team in the tournament, understandably, is going to give Brazil a bit of a challenge. I think Brazil haven't looked like conceding. Unfortunately, they've not really looked like they're going to score, and I think they do miss Neymar. I mean, he's a talisman to that team. He's the leader of the team. When you lose a Neymar, not only do you lose your best player, not only do you lose the personality, you also lose the player that when he gets the ball, he creates space for everyone else because players get drawn into Neymar, and that creates space for others. Brazil are playing more as a team without Neymar, and the balance of threat is spread that Switzerland can just keep their system. If Neymar's playing, Switzerland have to change their system a bit. They get drawn towards Neymar, which creates spaces for others. So of course they're going to miss Neymar, and they've got to adjust to life without him. They're still a very good team, but I think that is the biggest problem that Brazil have faced today. They're playing a very underrated Switzerland side who can give anyone a game, and you know, Neymar not there makes it a bit of a challenge that they've got to adjust to. Which African team do you think will go the furthest in this year's World Cup, says Alan? I haven't looked enough at the round of 16, but my prediction at the moment would probably be Well, I think Morocco are the most likely to go through, so I'd go with them. What are your thoughts on the new possession stat? We've done that as well. People are moaning about the poll. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. Easy to do that. Get involved with the community. They definitely did look like scoring. Rafinha's brilliant cross towards Vinny, who didn't hit it well. If he did, that's a goal, says Antonio. Mate, it's one chance. Like, it's one chance. Like, I don't think Brazil have looked like scoring to me. That one chance was a very difficult chance as well. I mean, if he hits it in the top corner, it's a goal, isn't it? Of course it is, but he didn't. I think it was a difficult chance to take. And my point is, they're not dominating Switzerland. Nelly says, I've got an unpopular opinion. Garnacho is overrated, says Nelly. And Mark, thoughts on USA-Iran game tomorrow? As a United States fan, I don't know what to expect. They were terrible against England, but brilliant against Wales, says Carlo. Your problem tomorrow night, Carlo, is that you've got to win. Iran can have 2 results. You can only have 1. Iran can draw and they'll finish above you. You've got to win. That puts a pressure on you. I'd fancy you more if you were in a position where you're both in the same situation, but obviously you're not. So I think it slightly favours Iran, but United States have got to score. Against Wales, you got 1 goal. You should have had 2. You would have won the game. And against England, you should have won the game, but you couldn't score. So I think that's the problem there. People in the crowd who think that's Neymar, bloody hell. Grow a beard and put a pair of shades on, and apparently you're Neymar. I think France or Spain beat Brazil after 2 games, says Alex Holt. And yeah, thank you everyone. Let's have a quick look at the stats in this game at half-time. That's what we like to do. Don't forget our stats are sponsored by OneFootball. The QR code in the top left-hand corner, you can download it for free, or you can do it through the link in the description. OneFootball app, free to download, available on all platforms. Get all your latest breaking football news, transfer news, stats. Check it out. Links in the description. We've got 50, I mean, look at that. That's a very interesting scenario, isn't it, on stats? 54% to 46% possession. That's not domination of possession. I actually thought it might be 64 to Brazil. So they're not dominating the ball. That's pretty equal. Shots wise, they are the more attacking side, 6 to 1, 2 on target to 0. But I think Switzerland are very much in this. Passing accuracy, 88% to 86%. Yeah, Brazil have marginally had a little bit more possession and a little bit more passing, but that's what I mean. It's I think against Serbia, correct me if I'm wrong, against Serbia, the possession was heavily in the favour of Brazil. So Switzerland are doing a good job here, and I think at half-time, Switzerland will be definitely thinking, look, let's get the point. I mean, obviously you want to win it, but let's get the point. That first half is justified. Let's go out and do that again, get a point, and it gives us a great chance of qualifying. Let Brazil worry about Brazil. So I'm interested to see how it's going to pan out in the second half. I think we will get a goal in the second half, though. We may have another 0-0 at half-time, but I don't think we'll have a 0-0 at full-time with Brazil. You don't get many 0-0s with Brazil. Who is the best player anyway? We've got a vote going on for Musiala, Bellingham, Pedri and Xavi. And interestingly enough, Jude Bellingham's got 39% of the vote. Musiala's got 31% of the vote. Pedri's got 21% of the vote. And Xavi's got 9% of the vote. So maybe a bit of English bias. I don't know. Who would I vote for? The trouble is, I don't think it's even English bias. I've seen a lot more of Jude Bellingham than I have of Musiala, Pedri and Xavi. So I really do like the look of Musiala. I really, really do like the look of him. Could have played for England, Could have played for England. I really do like him. I think he's the most exciting of the 4. But I probably would vote Bellingham, yeah. Probably would vote Bellingham. I think what Bellingham has done in his career so far is remarkable. And he's only 19. But talent, if we're talking about the bigger talent, depends what you want on your bread, isn't it? What sort of player do you like? Bellingham's a quintessential, powerful box-to-box player, where Musiala's got that more flair to him, hasn't he? Pedri is clear right now. Embarrassing poll results, says Allison. And Fred's better than all of them, says Bayern. And Bellingham is a more rounded player, says Immortal. It depends what you want. They're all quite different, aren't they, in many ways? But you know, what a set of talented players. Please do subscribe, by the way. We're only 300 away from 847,000 on the road to 850,000 subscribers. Get involved with That's Football. You're all welcome. It doesn't matter who you support. We've done every game as a World Cup watch along so far. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and get involved. Got the second half coming up, and we've got a massive game at 7 o'clock. Portugal against Uruguay. Really looking forward to that one. And hopefully it will live up to it. Uruguay, Goldbridge's dark horse picks against Portugal, who really, who know? They're probably the favourites to win the World Cup amongst the teams who've never won it. So and there's a lot of teams who've won it really. Brazil can't win the World Cup if they play like here against Switzerland, says Saborski. I disagree. You know, not every team plays superb in the World Cup who win it. I mean, France, I thought, were very almost robotic in the 2018 World Cup. France, there was moments, but I think they just got through, didn't they? And I don't think Brazil look like they're in any danger of losing this game. So I don't. I mean, look. Of course, they could. They could lose the game. Let's be honest. But they don't look like they're in any danger of losing it at the moment. And we're only halfway through. James is in the chat. He says, "What's up, chat? What's up, James? Hope you're doing good." Rodrigo needs to come on. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Would anyone make any changes? You know what? I think I would. I think that there is a need at some point to make a bit of statements around the attacking of Brazil. And look, you know what? That midfield three is a little bit static, isn't it? You know, I know we've mentioned missing Neymar, and you're going to miss Neymar, but look at the makeup of the team against. I nearly said Siberia. Against Serbia, you've still got Richarlison, Rafinha, and Vinicius Junior as your front three, but you've got Neymar, Casemiro, and Paqueta. Today, you've still got the same front three, but you've got Fred instead of Neymar. So you've got Fred, Casemiro, and Paqueta, which is way more defensive than Neymar, Paqueta, and Casemiro. So that's different as well. You're not only missing Neymar, but you're actually playing more defensive because Fred is more of a midfielder and Neymar's more of an attacker. So instead of having 4 attackers and 2 midfielders, you're actually playing 3 midfielders and 3 forwards. So that makes a difference as well. The Doug Out Football Channel. Hello, Doug. Hope you're doing well. He says, afternoon, Mark. What's your favourite game of the World Cup so far? Mine was Belgium-Morocco. Yeah, it was a good game. My favourite was Germany-Spain because it's the best game, the best 2 teams we've had playing against each other. They cancelled each other out. Once Spain scores, Germany scored. I thought it was the highest quality game. Yeah. Fabio and Diego said, just wanted to say, amazing channel, legend. Thank you very much. Thanks for supporting us. And Serbia was a great game. Where were you, Mark? Daniel. I was watching it. I had the watch-along on and I had the telly on, but I was doing a bit of work at the time. I did watch it. I didn't really keep an eye on the 1 o'clock game, I've got to be honest. I was dipping in and out of that. But Serbia game this morning I did watch because I was very much intrigued to see what Serbia were going to do in response to the beating by Brazil. And they very much nearly went and got the result I thought they were going to get. And then they bloody well didn't. So fair play to Cameroon for getting back into it. I truly worry about Portugal. That group will be tricky if they lose tonight, says Ayanda. It is. You're right. It's a very tricky group. It is a very tricky group. Just to reiterate what was being said there, the group stage, obviously, we're not even into group game 3 until tomorrow. But if you look at the Portugal group as it stands, you've got Ghana, who have got 3 points after beating South Korea. You've got Portugal, who've got 3 points after beating Ghana. You've got Uruguay, who've got 1 point after drawing with South Korea, but play Portugal tonight. Portugal will play South Korea in the last game. It's a slippy situation if Portugal need to win tonight, and then they've got the breathing space with 6 points. If they don't win tonight, you could get drawn into something you don't want to. If only there was someone who could play in Neymar's position. Should have brought Firmino, says Alison Becker, 94. Well, the lights went out on that corner, but I think the players are coming out for the second half now. Let's start the stats carousel. Players are coming out. Yeah, don't forget to download the OneFootball app. It's free to do it. Get all your latest breaking football news there. And hi, Mark. Is it possible to get in touch? I have some fan art that I would like to send you, if possible, says Fabio and Diego. That's footballmedia@gmail.com is probably the best email to send it to. And Messi is the best, says Nivek. Simple message there. Are you hanging up your stocking on your wall, says Raven. Oh, you know what? I hadn't even thought of that yet. That's the first time this Christmas I've thought about that. If you know, you know. Yeah, comes around too quick. Right, let's get the timer ready here. There'll be a goal in this second half. There'll be a goal in the second half. Bright lights. That yellow shirt is bloody luminous yellow. It's like one of those highlighter pens. Look how bright the blue shorts are as well. They've just gone for bright. Very bright. Bright. Rodrigo's coming on. He's made the change that many of you in the chat wanted to happen. Rodrigo is coming on. Would you take this Messi at Man United, says Nicholas? I mean, could you ever turn down Messi? Does he suit what United want to do, though? I think at some point you've got to do what's best for the team. And I mean, Messi's amazing, but we've just done this with Ronaldo. Is it the right thing to do? What's your opinion on Trent and Foden starting and Wilson as well, since it's PJ? I think I've become indoctrinated to the fact that Harry Kane will never not start for Manchester United, for England, but I would start Trent at right back and Foden instead of Mount, yeah. Second half's up and running. I don't think Messi would fit Man United, as ridiculous as that sounds. Where would you play him? You wouldn't play him off the wing. You couldn't play him as the striker. You'd have to play in Bruno's position. And Bruno, the problem with Bruno's position is that you have to put a lot of work in defensively. So I don't think Messi would suit the way that we play, which is ridiculous. I can't believe I'm saying that. So as you can see, we've had a substitute here. And no surprises. It's the substitute I alluded to. They played with Neymar in the midfield against Serbia. Today they've played Fred. And it's made them that little bit more defensive, hasn't it? So they're trying to be more offensive by bringing on Rodrigo instead of Fred and going more with the front four. Now, let's see if people are moaning about Brazil now, because Brazil are going more like they do when Neymar plays. And maybe the team is more used to that. Sebastian says there's more empty seats. Nice interception here. Casemiro, options. Out to Richarlison on the left-hand side. Whips across. I don't think they're going to get much joy from crossing. I thought he took Fred off. Took Paqueta off, has he? My eyesight's terrible. Oh yeah, it's because it's the left side of that. It's because it's the left side. I thought he took Fred off. He's took Paqueta off. Okay. He's going for a midfield too anyway, going more attacking. Even as a United fan, I find it amazing that Fred plays ahead of Gameres. A few fouls going in here. Southgate's tactics exposed last game, too defensive, says it's PJ. Oh, there is a rumour about England tomorrow that Jordan Henderson's going to start, so that probably means that Bellingham's going to the bench. I told you this. The only reason Jude Bellingham is starting for England is because Calvin Phillips has been injured. If he's going to drop Bellingham to bring Henderson in to play next to Rice, I mean, I like Jordan Henderson, but he's not offensive, is he? He's more defensive. So Rice and Henderson, it's just more protection for the back four, isn't it? And I do like Jordan Henderson. I thought he played very well in the 2018 World Cup, but there is a rumour going around that Henderson's going to start tomorrow. So if Henderson's starting, I can't see how he starts unless Bellingham doesn't, because you're not going to drop Declan Rice. Akash says that Casemiro's like two players in the midfield. Well, he's arguably the best EDM in the world, isn't he? But I always said Bellingham wouldn't have been starting for England if Calvin Phillips was fit. Anyway, he loves Phillips and Rice. And why would you do that against Wales? Why would you make your midfield more defensive? You know, we may as well play a back five as well. Why would you play Henderson and Rice against Wales? Well, because I don't want to concede 4 goals and go out. If you concede 4 goals against Wales, you get more than the sack, mate. You should be sent off to bloody the North Pole forever. This is why he shouldn't be managing England, because he wouldn't get a job in the bloody Championship. Well, we've got to stop ourselves by losing 4-4. Yeah, Wales couldn't score 4 goals in their dreams. Let me think about that. Says if Suarez starts tonight, we're losing. Matthew says he could see England playing a back five tomorrow. I hope not. What's for dinner, Mark? Says Logan. I don't know. It's like aubergine rice and lamb mince, but I'm bloody starving. I wish I'd had something to eat before this. Clem says, as a Liverpool fan, I rate Henderson very highly, but England can't afford to be defensive right now. I rate Henderson, Clem, but I just don't think that you can play Henderson and Rice. It's just too negative. You know, you play Henderson or Rice, don't you? You don't play them both. It does sound Moroccan, doesn't it, Aidan? Yeah. Yam's very impressed with Switzerland. They're very well organised. I mean, they don't look like they're going to score a goal, but they look very well organised, don't they? Switzerland, look, let's not, you know, as well as they're organised and they are underrated, let's not pretend that Switzerland are the sort of team that score 2 or 3 goals. They're very much and very much always have been, you know, well organised, 1-0, 1-1, that sort of a performance. They're not big scorers. It's a foul on Sau. A yellow card. Matches your shirt, Fred. Was that Fred's bad first touch leading to a tackle being his second touch? I think he miscontrolled it, didn't he? Second touch is a tackle with Fred sometimes, unfortunately. Picks up a yellow. Any chance Southgate will go play a back five, says Kevin. I don't think he will play a back five tomorrow, but I think he'll play it at some point. I think if we did get to the quarter final and played France, he would play a back five. Yeah, I think as soon as we play somebody that's capable of battering him, he'll go to a back five. What's Zippy from Rainbow being talked about, White Dwarf? Nice little ball over the top. He's got a lot of space here on the right hand side. Takes a good first touch. Cross comes in. Brilliant bit of defending, but Switzerland are still in there. Blocked by Brazil. What a ball that was. The diagonal. And Switzerland could have been in. Freddie's playing good. He's making forward runs and passes as Tajay. If you want to join the Fred fan club, Tajay is the president. I think he will make changes tomorrow. Shrimpy says maybe he's going to play Henderson so he can bring in Trent. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw... I don't think he'll take Bellingham out of the team just for Henderson, because I think he knows he's going to get a lot of shit for that. I think he will be... Maybe he's going to play Henderson and then play Foden, because Foden's more attacking, so he wants two more defensive midfielders. So he might do that. He might bring Foden in and then go a bit more defensive in the midfield. Nice ball by Mbola. Is Vargas, and it's another corner. I'm really looking forward to Iran USA tomorrow. I mean, obviously we're gonna. So what I'm gonna do from tomorrow is there'll be two games kicking off at the same time. Somebody said, why don't you do two watch-alongs? And I'm like, it's a pain in the arse to have two watch-alongs going on at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to have two watch-alongs within one watch-along. So I'll have England against Wales on that screen, and then I'll have a screen below it, which will be USA Iran. So we'll be watching two games at the same time, basically. And that's how we'll do it. Belgium are falling apart. Vertonghen snapped back at De Bruyne yesterday. Could be the big team out early. One team always falls out with each other at the World Cup, says Alex. It's normally the Dutch, isn't it? Valentine says, did you see Messi wiping his feet on the Mexico shirt? I haven't seen that. Doesn't sound very nice, does it? That's going to go for a goal kick. Matthew says he's not been they've not been impressed with the Dutch so far, says Matthew Malloy. And Josh wants to know who the fastest player in football is. I don't know, Josh. I mean, look, I remember when I was growing up, the fastest player in football used to play for Cambridge. I think his name was John Williams, and he was in like Division 2. So speed isn't necessarily attached to quality. The quickest player in football might be playing, at a low level. Alisson under a bit of pressure there, gets closed down by Mbolo, but gets away with it. This Fred guy is world class, as he under. How did Benzema beat him to the Ballon d'Or? Here is Fred in the pocket. Plays it off wide. Here's Vinicius Jr. into the box. Good cross. Oh, my God. I don't know how that doesn't go in. It's a delightful cross by Vinicius Jr. and Richarlison. I don't know what he does. It's a lovely cross. Get something on it. Head, foot. It's got to be foot at that height. No, it's just that he's not. Yeah, he can't do it. He can't do it. It's a lovely cross. But it's just a little bit ahead of Fred. And no joy. Fred wins the header. But Switzerland clear. We're only 150 subscribers away from 847,000. Please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Remember, we're doing all the watch-alongs on That's Football. You're all very welcome. Doesn't matter who you support. Get involved with the chat. I doubt there's anybody in the chat who's been part of every watch-along, but maybe there is. RLK for Life says, your Southgate agenda is boring. Ollie isn't any better. Yeah, Ollie's sacked, mate, which is why the Southgate agenda continues, because he's still... faking a living as a manager. So I don't know what you're talking about Ollie for. What's your favourite Italia 90 England kit, says the cream of the crop? I probably prefer the white one. Cody says Wales are going to win the World Cup. Tristan says, why is Sancho not at the World Cup? Not good enough. Fred's coming off. Oh, the fan club's going to be gutted here. Gomes comes on. Bruno Gomes. Now, look, Fred plays for Manchester United. Fair play to him. But for me, Bruno Gomes should be starting anyway. It's plan B, says I've watched all the Goldbridge watch-alongs so far. I think I've watched all the watch-alongs because I've either sat on my own or I've watched the studio ones. So I think I actually have watched them all. Do I think Serbia will beat Switzerland, says Jack? I wouldn't rule it out because the problem that Switzerland have is scoring. They're very good, but will they score enough goals? Oscar says the Brazilian team looks beatable. I think the Brazilian team is just struggling a little bit today without Neymar. I think they're like I say, the setup of the team with Neymar in it as a midfielder makes them more attacking, whereas today I just think they've been struggling to find the balance. But one goal will probably win them this game. Really thought Sancho was good, but he didn't do well at United, says Tristan. He still can. Why doesn't Zakaria start, says Rahul? I forgot. You know what? I forgot all about Zakaria. I don't know why we're being shown a couple of people shown as a Brazilian flag. It's not a novelty. There's probably thousands of them in that ground. These camera guys. Zakaria is on the bench for Switzerland. Yeah, he is. But he didn't start in the Euros either. Rob says, I live in the Caribbean and I've been up at 5 a.m. for every match. I never miss one. Here we go. Could be a chance for Switzerland. Lays it off. Good block. I think it was Sal with the shot. You can certainly get a chance against Brazil. Nice little back heel. Sal's got it on the left-hand side. Looks up. Lovely cut back. He might hit that. Another block. I've watched all the watch-alongs too, says Hale. Do you miss the Nigerian team at the World Cup, says Olu. I think that there's a lot of African teams that you expect to be in the World Cup. I mean, Nigeria, yes. I mean, I actually thought Egypt would be, especially because, I mean, Salah's a fantastic player, but in recent years I would have expected them to be here. South Africa, I thought they might make it. So I commented on this about 6 months ago. I said the qualification for the African World Cup qualification is hot at Ivory Coast as well. I think Algeria are good as well. I think the qualification from Africa is probably the hardest. It's so hard. Like some of the playoffs to get in the World Cup, the games were ridiculous quality. Or maybe not ridiculous quality, but the names that were playing, and you knew one of them wouldn't come to the World Cup. So I think I don't agree with the World Cup being increased from 32 to 48 teams, but it will massively benefit Africa having more spots because there are really good teams. I think the quality of team in Africa is very close, and a lot of teams that are decent end up missing out. I mean, South America, there's one or two teams that I would normally expect to be here. Chile, they're normally here, aren't they? Who else from South America is not qualified? Chile would definitely, but I don't know whether Chile are any good anymore. But Chile would be a team I would always expect to be in the World Cup. And obviously Europe, there's probably 3 or 4 teams that are good. Sweden, Italy. So it's probably 3 or 4 teams from Africa, 3 or 4 teams from Europe. That's 8. But there's still, Colombia as well. Yeah, Colombia are normally a good side. But I don't think we've got space for another 16 teams, which is what's going to happen in the next World Cup. I think there's going to be some shite games, isn't there, in the next World Cup? God, in fact, imagine the next World Cup. How many games will there be? Fucking hell, they'll have to start that early. I presume there will be more games in the World Cup because the 48 teams divided by 4, that'll be 12 groups of 4. And they'll want to go... There must be an extra round. 12 groups of 4. And then... top 2 qualify. I don't know how they're working that. 48 teams. How do you work that down? I don't know what they're going to do. 80 games at the next World Cup, says Husam. Golden Boot will be fucking ruined, won't it? Yeah. That's the thing when you start messing around with things as well. Lovely ball into Vinicius Jr. He's in. He's going to score. Ah, lovely finish. Lovely finish. 1-0 to Brazil. There it is. Defender couldn't get near him, and he runs in, and it's 1-0 to Brazil. I told you, you don't get 0-0 with Brazil. Vinicius Jr. That's just complete and utter calm finish. Feeds him to the left. Should the fullback stay on his feet? I mean, it could have been red carded, really. Miles onside. Yeah, fullback's just got his run wrong. Lovely finish by Vinicius Jr. Calmly paces it into the bottom corner. Keeper can do nothing about it. And second time in the game that fullback has got himself caught out. Why are people shouting offside? He can't be offside. He's miles on. Look at the pattern of the pitch. Absolutely miles on. Casemiro assist as well. I don't know what people are talking about. Richarlison was offside, but he's not even interfering with play, is he? Oh, there is a VAR. I stand corrected. Let's see. Richarlison was offside. I didn't really see what he was doing here. It's offside chill, says Fur. Goal. Giving it. No, offside. Offside. Bloody hell, I didn't... You know what? Fair play, anyone who spotted that. I was completely following the ball. I didn't really see it. Didn't spot it at all. What's Richarlison doing then? Is it before the Casemiro pass? Offside 4 minutes before the goal was scored, says Scott. Oh. I don't know about that. I didn't even notice it. I couldn't... You know, it's obviously in the third phase or something. I don't know. Mark, please learn the offside rule. No, Varane, I don't need to learn the offside rule. You need to fucking learn some manners, mate. I don't need to learn the offside rule. I was watching the pass from Casemiro to the goal scorer. I wasn't paying attention to the build-up. I know exactly how the offside rule works. If you're offside, you're offside. But I didn't notice that because I was watching the goal. Thank you, Mohammed, for actually being educated. He said Richarlison laid it off to Casemiro. So it's the second assist, isn't it? It's the pass before the assist. The Richarlison's offside. But it might only be a matter of time before Brazil actually do score because they've been a lot more. They've been a lot better since they brought Rodrigo on for Paqueta, and Bruno Guimaraes has made a difference to the midfield as well. Switzerland starting to sit in a little bit more as well. So Richarlison was offside in the build-up. I'd reserve judgment on that because I didn't notice it. Rahul wants to see the replay. So here it is. Richarlison is miles offside. Oh, yeah. He comes from an offside position. And because... It is a weird one because, yeah, the ball gets played into the midfield and the Brazilian player doesn't touch it, even though he tries to touch it. The ball actually goes for a long period of a pass. So Richarlison comes back from offside to flick it. But I think if the Brazilian player had touched it, lovely run there. Free kick. I think it was offside, and Colin says, "Nice spot, you guys." I think if you saw it, well done. I don't think watching that goal back, I wouldn't have seen that. He's come from an offside position and he does interfere with play. So there we are with that. It is offside. I'll blame the Glazers with David, yeah. Dougie says, what are your opinions on Germany? Thought they were brilliant yesterday. And obviously they're going to beat Costa Rica, so they'll go into the... I think Germany just reset yesterday, didn't they? Disappointing to lose to Japan. Got a good result against Spain, beat Costa Rica, go into the groups, go into the knockouts with a different mentality. And, you know, how many teams have lost the first game and gone on to have a good World Cup? I think teams have gone on to win the World Cup having lost their opening game, haven't they? But two spring to mind for me. Italy in '94 lost to Ireland in their opening game, went to the final. And Argentina in '90 lost to Cameroon in their opening game, went to the final. So Spain did it in 2010, says Rahul. But Sabine says, if you know football, you know football. So, you know, Germany could well have a good tournament now, and they are a good team. I think Germany are up there. Nice roll here. Switzerland need a goal here. They need a corner. Brazil are dominating the possession here at the moment, and Switzerland desperately need a little bit of it. Very unlucky not to be 1-0 up, Brazil. They've had a couple of opportunities down Vinicius Junior's side in the first and second half. Vinicius Junior getting on the end of a cross and putting it, not connecting well with it, and then he scored, but there was an offside in the build-up. So, but I do sense Brazil getting ahead of steam here with 20 minutes to go. Chronic says Switzerland's problem is they haven't got a striker. Well, this is what I mean. Here we go. Vinicius Junior's got loads of space here. He's up against the Kanji. That right back needs taking off. He's struggling. He's struggling, that right back, isn't he? He's blowing out his arse. Talking about blowing out the arse. Did you just trump then, Seb? No. Thought I heard one. Yeah, that right. I'd get that right back off for Switzerland, because I think Brazil, quite rightly, have started to exploit it. The last thing you want to do as a defender as well is be up against somebody who's quicker than you when you're tired. I can't see Switzerland holding out here. 20 minutes to go, and Brazil are turning up the heat. in the kitchen. Why is my... There we go. Get it going round. The stats carousel wasn't going round. Remember, One Football sponsor the stats carousel. You can get it for free through the link in the chat or the QR code. And get all your latest breaking football news, transfer news, stats for free. Jesus and Anthony are on. Here we go. Here we go. Jesus and Anthony on. They want the win. Richarlison comes off. Brazil want the win here. Look at the quality they can bring on as well. I don't see Switzerland holding out here. I think Anthony came on for Rafinha, didn't he? I mean, look at the quality that Brazil have brought on. They brought Jesus on, Anthony on, Rodrigo on, and Bruno Guimaraes on. And Neymar's injured. Like, so much quality options. Again, it's like the French squad, isn't it? I think Brazil and France have got the best two squads. Lovely ball. Switzerland, I'll tell you what, Switzerland have been nice and tidy in the build-up, but they just missed something up at the... They just missed something up front, don't they? But they haven't, in fairness to Switzerland, they haven't gifted up many opportunities. That right back still fighting. Portugal got a good squad. I agree, Captain Monopoly, yeah. Remember Portugal, Uruguay at 7 o'clock tonight. 15 minutes to go here. I mean, Switzerland probably in the draw mindset now. Portugal, Brazil. Phil, you should have music on the streams. Bit quiet, says Clem. Can't. And delays of the offside replays are so frustrating, says RAW. Yes, they are. They are. I don't think that should have been ruled offside. They should look closer at that, says Assel. Well, we've only had one look at it, mate. So it's one of those, I think, in the Premier League, you get to see it 3 or 4 times. Sao and Embolo are coming off here. So I quite like Sao. He's going off. Embolo's coming off. Severovic and Abisha are coming on. Luke says, would you shave all your hair off if England win the World Cup? The world needs bold bridge. I don't fancy a bald head in the winter. Here, it's gone again, look. I hate it when it goes off. Load up. Load up. Load up. Oz says, Mark doesn't do 0-0s. When's the goal come in? I think Brazil will score. I think they will score. We haven't had a 0-0 since... England, they haven't shown that offside enough, you know. I think some of the coverage of the VAR decisions has been shite in this World Cup. It's almost like they don't want people to watch it. Brazil missed Neymar. I said it before the game, just random. We spoke about it at half-time. I think psychologically they've missed him, and I think the coach has missed him today. He's not really settled on a system that works. Obviously replaced Neymar with Fred, which is going to make them more defensive. Then he's took Paqueta off to get Rodrigo on to make them more offensive. And I think in the last 15-20 minutes they've been a lot better. They probably should have done it from the start. But they're running out of time a little bit. Do you think Tite wants to dominate the scoreline so teams don't target Neymar and think that that's the key to defeating Brazil, says Sebastian Alonso? I just think when you've got a player of the quality of an Mbappe or a Messi or a Neymar or a Ronaldo, to a certain extent, maybe not Ronaldo and Messi now, but players that everybody gets drawn towards. It just makes everybody else's job easier. And I think Switzerland today have just gone, well, you haven't got Neymar, so we don't need to get drawn to the ball when Neymar gets it. We're just going to play against 11 men, and everybody has their responsibility and their job to do on the pitch. And it makes it harder for Brazil to play through Switzerland when they're sticking to their task. But I'll guarantee you, if Neymar had been playing, Swiss players would get drawn in, and that would create space for others. So it is a loss. But I think as much as it's a loss for Brazil, I think the manager's struggled a bit today. I don't think he should have started Fred, Paqueta and Casemiro. One of those players should have been left out to be for a more attacking player. Another foul there. Still got 12 minutes to go. Daniela says Brazil's final ball has been poor. Yeah, as I said, they've not created the chances I would have expected. And that's credit to Switzerland. Anthony holding up the card. Not a good look. Don't like it. Not going to defend it just because you play for United, mate. Do not like that. Unless you're trying to get a taxi, I don't like that action. Argentina without Messi is a dead squad as well, says I love pit bulls. I hope Leao plays for Portugal today, but I don't know whether we've got the team news or not. Yeah, nobody said it wasn't a foul, mate. We're just saying I don't like people who get fouled start waving the yellow card around. None of these teams will survive against Ivory Coast, says Ianda. Easy win for them. Catch that. Come on, let's have a goal, Brazil. I don't care whether it's a yellow card or not. I don't like players waving yellow cards at referees. I just think it's snidey. I don't like it. Never liked it. Players used to do it. I remember Argentina in '98 against England and waving cards, trying to get people booked in yellow cards. I know it's very popular in other countries, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't care whether it's a red card. I just don't like people waving cards at the referee. I think it's... Some people do, some people don't. Deal with it. Not falling out with anybody, I just don't like it. Here is Anthony. Good play, good play. Lays it off. Have a shot. And it's a corner for Brazil. Wow, maybe it's a set piece. Maybe a set piece is the way. Oh, don't say that. Don't say that, Greg. He says Portugal and Uruguay will be a draw. No. Look at that for a 3. Cafu, Roberto Carlos and Ronaldo sat watching the game. Brazil expects. Now, set pieces. Anthony's on it. Thiago Silva likes a cross. Militao's good in the air as well. It's a good cross. Sommer came for it, missed it, but someone else got it. And it heads straight back to the keeper. Brandon says, who are you going for, Portugal or Uruguay? I'm looking forward to that game. I'm hoping that we get another Germany-Spain from last night. I think this is a good... Look, I think I want Portugal to win because of Bruno and Ronaldo, but remember I did pick Uruguay as my dark horse. I mean, to be honest, if I get it wrong, I get it wrong. But I'd probably prefer Portugal to win, but... I do want Uruguay to do quite well because it backs up what I thought. I mean, they've got some good players. Valverde, Araujo, Nunez. Obviously, Cavani still plays, doesn't he? Varun says that Brazil-Cameroon will be very open with Cameroon needing a win, says Varun. Yeah. This has been probably Brazil's toughest game because Switzerland are probably the best team in the group behind Brazil. They're very well organised. And, Switzerland also know if they can get a point here with the win they got against Cameroon, it puts them in a very strong position against Serbia. Whereas if they lose this game, lovely play. Oh, what a goal! And it's Casemiro! It's Casemiro! The boy can do everything! What a hit! He can't even believe it himself. He just smacks his foot against the ball, finds the back of the net, and it's Man City's Akanji. Sit down. United 1, City 0. Also Brazil 1 and Switzerland 0. And it's Casemiro with the goal. Have some of that. We don't do 0-0s. And the goal has come eventually. I think they've deserved it second half, Brazil. They really have. They've kept working. They've kept going. They've been the more attacking team in the second half. Vinicius Jr., nice little layoff. And Casemiro, Techers. Look at the technique on that. Is he lucky? No, he's not lucky. It's just pure technique. Casemiro, what a goal. What a goal. Techers, pure technique. The technique on that. Harry Maguire, sit down. We found a new striker. What a hit. What a hit. 1-0 Brazil. And we were just talking about Switzerland there. That point would have really helped them. Their game's about Serbia anyway, isn't it? Their game's about Serbia. It does hit Akanji on the arse, but I still think it's going to go in. I still think it's going to go in. People are saying it deflected. It probably veers it off a couple of inches. I don't think it makes a massive difference. Still good technique for a CDM. There's Kaka as well. Snapshot, pure class, says Hale. Casemiro's having a very good tournament. He was very good against Serbia as well. And we don't do 0-0s. We don't do 0-0s. Lovely stuff. Absolutely fantastic. We're only 100 subscribers away from 847,000, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. And
Daddy,
yeah.
can you sing on the camera?
No, because the camera's looking at me. Nick P says, at last we can look at a World Cup star without worrying about the price tag. We already have him, says Nick P. And look, I think Brazil have deserved it in the second half. I think at half time, I do remember the stats. Let's just have a little look at them. So at half time, it was very much 54% against 46%. It still is like that. I'm very surprised at the possession. But Brazil have stepped it up. 4 shots on target. Switzerland still haven't had one. I think on the balance of play, 1-0 is more than justified for Brazil, isn't it? I don't think anyone can argue with that. They've shown the more intent. Switzerland have worked very hard. Interestingly for Switzerland, it doesn't look too bad. I don't think it makes a massive amount of difference for them. If they lose to Serbia, they would go out. I suppose the nice thing about the point would have mean that if they'd the great thing about the point for Switzerland would have been that they'd have had that positive goal difference. That even if Serbia had beaten them, Serbia would have had to beat them by quite a lot. Whereas now, if they lose to Serbia, they'll go out. So you can understand Switzerland's disappointment, and you can understand why they were, working so hard defensively. But yeah, they would have been on 4 points if they'd drawn 0-0, and they'd have had a +1, and Serbia have got -2. So the point almost would have made them qualify, really, wouldn't it? But you get what you deserve sometimes, and I think that the better team has been Brazil. Not by huge amounts, but they have been better. And the great thing for Brazil is it shows that they can win without Neymar. And of course, the big advantage and the big reason people predict people like Brazil and France to win the tournament is because can Switzerland take off Richarlison for Jesus? Can they take off Paqueta for Rodrigo? Can they take off Fred for Bruno Guimaraes? Can they take off Rafinha for Anthony? No, they can't. They can't. And the second half, the difference has been the changes that Brazil have been able to make. And teams like Switzerland and Denmark, they don't have that depth. And Brazil and France do. And that's it. It's Plan B, says you're overrating Uruguay. They were terrible. Well, we'll see at 7, won't we? Maybe I've got that wrong. But Portugal, Uruguay at 7 o'clock. My dark horse tip, Uruguay against Portugal. Switzerland look beaten. The point would have been so good for Switzerland, but it's not to be. Liao's on the bench, Mark, says Evo. Not surprised. Has he picked the same team? Why do I think Argentina can't win the World Cup? Because I've watched them twice and I don't think they're very good, basically. I don't think they're anywhere near good enough. I think France, Brazil, Spain are way better. I think that's why I don't think they can win it. I can't see the team news. If anyone's got the team news, let us know. Can't see it. Pepe starts. What? Who's hating on Anthony? I haven't heard anybody hating on Anthony. So I don't know what people are going on there. I'm not saying that Argentina can't get to the final or win it, but at the moment, I don't think they look anywhere near good enough. Portugal's 11. It's from Plan B is Costa, Cancelo, Diaz, Pepe, Nuno Mendes, Neves, William Carvalho, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, João Felix and Cristiano. So he's dropped João Felix. Oh no, João Felix is playing. So who's he dropped to bring in Carvalho? Oh, Vitina. Vitina's been dropped. He's changed his left back. And who was it? Who did he play at centre back last time? Who played with Ruben Diaz at centre back? Danilo's injured. That was it. Danilo. Oh, it was Atavia. Atavia got dropped. Because he's injured. Uruguay, Roche, Coates, Godin, Jimenez, Varela, Bentancur, Vicino, Oliveira, Valverde, Cavani, Nunez. That's a good team, that is. That is still a good team. I mean, their centre-backs, Godin and Jimenez, probably had better days. It reminds me a bit of Alderweireld and Vertonghen, really. The fact that Godin is still playing, but... Gulham says, bye-bye Switzerland. Well, no, it sets up a very interesting game on Friday. Switzerland, I think it's Friday night, isn't it? Switzerland will play Serbia and Brazil will play Cameroon. Sets up a very interesting game, 7 o'clock on Friday for Switzerland. It's what you want in the final group game, isn't it? It's the winner takes it all. The loser standing small. The winner takes it all. The loser standing tall. Inside the victory. That's my destiny. We're only 50 subscribers away from 847,000. So let's see if we can hit it before full time. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. We are back straight after this game for the 7 o'clock game. Well, not straight after. I'm going to have a bite to eat and might even have a bath. But 7 o'clock, it's Portugal against Uruguay. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right hand corner. We're only 50 away from 847,000. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. You're very welcome. I played all my cards. I love that. Actually do really like that song. Really, really do. I don't see any way back for Switzerland. I've played the game. That's the first time I've said that. It could be two. It could be two. It's a 2v1. Vinicius Jr. has messed it up, though. He really shouldn't have been messing that up. And that goal difference could be crucial. Well, it won't be crucial, actually. I don't think goal difference is going to be massive for Switzerland, to be fair. Because they're on 3 points. They've worked hard, Switzerland, for nothing. They've had a go, but at the end of the day, nothing is going to happen. They're not going to get the result. Anthony's horrible, says Hugo. How's Anthony playing, says Warren. I think he's been all right. Lovely ball by Thiago Silva, this was, and good block. Another corner for Brazil. Brazil are going to be in the back arse of this tournament. I mean, anybody who thinks that they won't be, they will, you know. I can see minimum. I mean, Brazil's target is title or nothing, isn't it? You know, they want the title, but I think minimum they're going to hit the semis because it's clearly a squad game in the World Cup, and you know, even if you got an early goal against Brazil and you're 1-0 up after an hour, the amount of players that they can bring on, I think you've got to be a Spain or a France or a Germany maybe to knock them out, because you've got to be able to respond to the changes they can make. They can make so many subs, and you know, this is without Neymar as well. So I can't see Brazil doing anything other than at least the semis. At least the semis. And we might get that Brazil-France final. You never know. Casemiro is my man of the match. Lee, I agree. Well, he scored the winning goal. I mean, really, Switzerland at times looked like they might get the draw. But, you know, he's run the midfield. He's won the game. My man of the match. Zod says he wants Switzerland to go home. Can't stand their football. They just haven't got an attacking threat. I mean, I do like some of Switzerland's players. As I said, I like Sau. I like, Xhaka is a good player. Defensively, they've got some good players, but they've got nothing up front. They're just really... Be interested to see what they do against Serbia, because they're going to need to not get beat in that game, and the best way not to get beat is to score. That's the final whistle. It finishes 1-0 to Brazil. They've had to battle, but they got the job done in the end. They kept banging on the door. It's 6 from 6 for Brazil, and they look very, very comfortable, don't they? They're going to top the group as expected. Of course, who Brazil play in the round of 16 will be dependent on the game at 7 o'clock. If Portugal win that, they're probably going to top the group. If Portugal lose that and they come second, they would be playing Brazil. I thought this was the London Cowboys game, says Ayanda. So it finishes 1-0 to Brazil. I'm going to pop and get something to eat, and we'll be back with you in about 45 minutes' time for Portugal against Uruguay, the 7 p.m. kickoff. Thanks everyone for watching. Really enjoyed that one. Well done to Brazil. They got the job done in the end, and they look very impressive, don't they? They don't look defensively. They look very, very solid as well. FA Cup draw at 7 o'clock as well, as Chris B says. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget OneFootball to download. Links in the description, and I'll speak to you in a little bit.